The ghost of Grandchester Mystery Mansion in Nuka-Cola World, Lucy Grandchester, fascinates me. Not just because it's a ghost story, but because of the lack of primary sources within the Grandchester Mansion. We get nothing from Lucy or her parents, only from a narrator who was intentionally trying to create a ghost story so people will buy tickets and take the tour to later buy merchandise from this gift store. It's almost a little devastating. So much information from pre-war Boston and within the Fallout universe have been lost, and this is just one example. And I bring this up because, like I said, the toy speaker is clearly biased. They want to make money and create ghost story to get people to buy something. So we can't take this account as 100% proof. Any of it could have been false or made up, and none of us would ever know. Which brings me back to my first thing. Lucy Grandchester fascinates me because of everything we don't know. We know that she was a child born to elderly parents who more than likely abused her. Hannibal, her father with his cane, and her mother, who while might have not hurt her physically, believed her daughter to be possessed by evil spirits, and subjected her to a psychic to remove the spirits from her. It's possible that Lucy suffered mental health problems, but that's more speculation than an educated guess. The reason I bring it up at all is because I find it to be implied that Lucy was raised before the events of the Great War and before the bombs dropped. It's likely that, at this time, mental health was mistaken for evil spirits. There have been far too many stories of family members being sent away by their own families to asylums because of their mental health problems. The point is that, from what we can tell from the legend of the Mystery Mansion, no one of the family treated each other kindly. Although, as I've said, we don't know if that's true or not, still. And we can almost get a glimpse of the cruelness within the family, but also we can get a sense of how people running the Grandchester Mansion felt about the story and legend itself. The dialogue and tone of the speaker indicate, at least to me, exactly what the goal of the Mystery Mansion is. Not to tell a story or warn the people lost, but to make money. It even adds in a warning so that it can't be sued later, and it's just one mention of them not suing them throughout the tour. Anyways, going back to the tone of the dialogue, it's monotone, and it's supposed to be. It creates a sense of apathy. We don't know how troubled Lucy was, just that she was troubled, and that she had harmful behaviors. We don't know how she was treated as a child beyond a very basic understanding that her parents were somewhat abusive. The tour implies that it's all legend, so not real. So, we really don't have any way of knowing the truth of what happened to Lucy and her parents, but still, all truth comes from legend. Because everything we get about the story is from a tour guide's perspective, we know that it's inherently written to make money. The tour guide himself says that there are child-friendly and adult knives that can be purchased later in the gift shop. And it should also be noted that Grandchester Mystery Mansion is part of Nuka World, further implying its goal to make money as a tourist attraction. People are already there to see Nuka-Cola World. Why not pay a visit to Grandchester Mystery Mansion as well? I mention this all to help showcase just how much biases we get within the tour guide's speech and the plaques on the wall, and how while it may be more information than we get from other yet forgotten NPCs, we don't know what is true and what was elaborated on to earn money. Now, there is Zachariah. We can see a primary account from within his terminologies, and he actively says that he doesn't believe that the house is haunted, and the only mention of it is that he hears strange laughter and believes it to be a malfunctioning assaultron. So it's probably safe to assume that if there was ghost activity, he ignored it, or believed it to just be the robots he brought with him. And then, of course, we have our own accounts. There's a number of times throughout the Soul Survivors walk through the Mystery Mansion that we see a little girl running away, but this doesn't tell us anything new, just that there is a ghost within the Grandchester Mansion. I find it really strange that we see Lucy not as an adult as she was when she died, but a little girl, and it makes me question everything more, and especially on the information we don't have. Was it just that she truly did die at a young age, unlike what the legend claimed, or was it that her ghost regressed to a childhood form? I find it interesting either way, as it just adds on to the greater mystery at the Grandchester Mansion. The way that I took the narration dialogue in Mystery Mansion was as a way to be sort of social commentary on how we as a society look at true crime stories. The reason I specifically think this is because of the idea again, there are child-friendly and adult knives, hitting multiple audience demographics with that one. Again, for someone who is believed to be a killer, the whole audio tour is spoken with an exaggerated tone, and it makes me wonder if it's meant to sound like that on purpose. Not to create a feeling of the haunted house tour, but to also critique how we view true crime today as a way to make profit off of, rather than respecting the victims. Which, in the context of the story, may or may not be abusers, but it's still a real and legitimate issue within the real world. So, as I mentioned earlier in the video, there's so much lost information within the Fallout universe. Lucy Grandchester's story shows that more than almost any other forgotten NPC, because, well, she could have very much been a sociopath due to killing animals and fascination with fire, but again, is that true or just part of a legend? She could have also just been a troubled kid, At the very least, Lucy Grandchester was someone who needed actual help and not a sidekick. I feel like I should note that if Bethesda did intend for Lucy to be a killer of her parents, then yeah, she's very much a sociopath. But until we know that, we don't know anything. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Bethesda doesn't want us to know, and so we don't. We can only take the tour of the Grandchester Mansion and read its plaques and wonder. I doubt we'll ever know the truth behind Lucy, much like the inspiration to her in the house, Lizzie Borden and the Winchester Mansion, and it saddens me in a way. We don't know the truth about this character or what really happened, and we're left with more information long gone. And I know I'm repeating myself a lot in this episode, but I think it's intentional. It changes the way that we play Fallout 4, or at least to me. I feel sad about everything and everyone that has long been lost to time, and we can only see through short stories and notes that they were able to leave behind. And it's like this with almost every NPC born pre-war or died sometime after the Great War, or even before the sole survivor enters the Commonwealth, where information is scattered and almost never truly finished. As painful as it is to have these unfinished stories and NPCs that are long gone, it creates a great mournful effect on the game. And that's episode 4. This episode in particular was so fun for me to make because I love ghost stories, and Lucy's story was so incredibly interesting to me. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the analysis on Forgotten NPCs, and that you'll come back for more next Wednesday.